Good evening, everyone. This is Mike. Welcome back to my channel and to another chapter of movies from A to Z. And join me in a glass of authentic A&W root beer in an authentic stolen A&W root beer jug, which I bought at a flea market a couple weeks ago. So, anyway, I'm still on the wagon. No alcohol, and so far I haven't gone crazy. I haven't gone through withdrawal or anything. So far so good, right? Anyway, today we are up to the letter V. V. See what happens when you stop drinking. You can't speak anymore. Letter V. And I've decided to pick a film called Victory from 1981. And the reason I picked this, I'm dedicating this entire video to my good friend Jcrashinthecar, one of my favorite YouTubers, who suggested that I watch this. Now, Jcrash is in the process of doing his top 200 favorite films. He's already made several videos. They're all excellent, by the way, and I'll put a link down to his channel so you can check out Jcrash's work if you don't know him. But in one of his early videos, he talked about Victory as being one of his favorites, and he was really enthusiastic about it. And I told him I'd never seen it. And he said, I would love for you to see this film, and I would be willing to buy you a copy myself. And I thought that was pretty generous, so I decided to check this out and surprise Jcrash. I managed to get a copy of this film, and I'm very glad that he turned me on to it because I had a great time watching this. So thank you very much, Jcrash. And this is probably not a film that I would pick out for myself because I'm not really a big sports guy. I'm not an action guy, and you know, if somebody had not suggested this to me for a specific reason, I probably wouldn't have picked it up off the shelf. But hey, it's always nice to get out of your comfort zone and try something a little bit different. This is a very good movie. Made in 1981, directed by John Huston, which is a great thing, great director there. And stars Sylvester Stallone, Michael Caine, and Max von Sydow. Takes place in World War II at a German prisoner of war camp. And there are several Allied prisoners from different countries, and one of them is an American named Richard Hatch, played by Sylvester Stallone, who was serving for the Canadian Army, and he's there. A lot of the guys that are there have formed this football team. European football, which in this country we call soccer. So forgive me if I call it soccer. You guys in England will go crazy when you hear that, but I can't help it. It's just second nature. Anyway, so they have this team, and they're doing very well. And the head of the team is a captain named, let's see, what is his name? Played by Michael Caine. Let me put on my goofy glasses here. Michael Caine plays a guy named John Colby. He's the captain of the team, and he is also an English football star. So anyway, so the plot gets kind of convoluted. The Germans, headed by the Major Karl von Steiner, played by Max von Sydow, they decided they wanted to get these football players to go to Paris and play a German team, sort of a propaganda thing they have going on. And the footballers are very excited. They find out that there is a plot afoot to have them escape during the halftime of this match that they're going to be playing. And the whole thing starts out by, let's see, Richard Hatch, or yeah, is it Richard? Yeah, Richard Hatch. Somebody Hatch. Yeah, Richard Hatch, played by Stallone, he's been planning an escape for a long time, and it's going to be, the whole thing is involved with him going to Paris to contact the French resistance so that the football players will be helped to escape, right? So he gets involved in this, and it gets kind of crazy because he has to get recaptured and go back to the prisoner of war camp so that he can tell everybody about the plans to help them escape from the stadium, right? The French resistance is going to be working through one of the sewers of Paris or something like that, digging a tunnel to the locker room so that when the halftime comes of this match, the players can just jump down into this hole that they've dug and then get to another country, get to safety. So that's the plan. But what happens is when they all finally get involved in this match, it gets very exciting, and they all get very hyped up about wanting to win. Of course, the Germans want to win, and the stadium is filled with mainly French citizens who, of course, are under the control, under the thumb of the Nazis, and of course they hate it. But and there are Nazi soldiers all around guarding and carrying guns and trying to keep everything under control. But the match gets so exciting that all the people in the stadium get totally carried away. And at one point they start singing the French national anthem a cappella, which is very, very exciting, very moving. And what happens is when the halftime comes, these guys are supposed to go down and escape and fool the Nazis, and while everybody else is waiting for the match to start again. Well, the guys are so excited about wanting to win. It means so much to them spiritually and emotionally, and because of their efforts to win the war for the Allies, that in a way they're winning the war, or they're fighting the war through this game, through this match. And they say, we don't want to leave yet. We want to go back and try to win. So that's the whole thing. And of course, Sylvester Stallone ends up being the big hero at the end. I probably told you too much, giving away some of the details, but I'm sure a lot of you have already seen this. It was a very, very popular film. And Sylvester Stallone, of course, had to be taught how to play football. And of course, he was trained by one of the coaches for one of the English teams, and had to sort of learn how to do all this stuff, and it was very difficult, but he managed to do it. He's a real hero. Let's see, Max von Sydow plays a Nazi that you could almost like and respect. The Nazi major that he's playing in this particular story is a very likable guy who at one point even cheers for the Allied team because he just doesn't seem to be a hateful person. So if there was ever a good Nazi written into a story, it's in this story here. So also we have there was an actor that you may not have heard of, a German actor named Anton Diffring, who played a commentator during the match. And even though they didn't use his voice, I recognize this guy's face. He's been a lot of horror films and other genre films. He started a film called Circus of Horrors in the early 60s. He also played a sort of, I think it was a Hammer film or a Hammer-esque film called The Man Who Could Cheat Death. Very good performance in that film. And he was also in Fahrenheit 451, the Ray Bradbury science fiction film. Very interesting and very talented actor. And they also used a lot of authentic, real-life football players from different countries in Europe, and also Pele, which is the only one I've ever heard of. He was, of course, is Brazilian, and he has a good part in the film. But some of the others that some of you may have heard of, they were kind of legendary players, I guess. Kevin O'Callaghan from Ireland, Soren Lindstedt from Denmark, Bobby Moore from England, Osvaldo Ardiles from Argentina, Paul van Himst from Belgium, Kazimierz Dana from Poland, I know I butchered that name, Halva Thorsten from Norway, Mike Summerby from England, Co Prince from Holland, Russell Osman from England, and John Wark from Scotland. Now, the film was based on an earlier Hungarian film from 1962 called Two Half Times in Hell, which apparently was based on kind of a legend from World War II about some prisoners of war who did actually go through a situation like this, but I guess it was discredited later and found out that it wasn't really true. But and it was filmed, I think I remember from the commentary on the disc, it was filmed in Budapest. They wanted to find someplace in Europe that looked like the Paris of the 1940s, and the only place they could find was in Hungary, so they filmed it there. So anyway, so that's my video for letter V, and I think this is going to be the end of the series of movies from A to Z. I don't have that many more films for W, X, Y, and Z, and I think I've already done most of the ones for W and Y in previous, some of the good ones anyway, in previous series of movies from A to Z. So I'll just stop it here. And I also want to thank, once again, my friend Jcrashinthecar for suggesting that I watch Victory, because I had a good time watching it. It was a lot of fun. One more thing before I go. I want to show you something that I posted on Facebook. How many times have you ever went out and bought a used DVD or Blu-ray without checking the disc inside before you take it home, before you lay your money down? Well, I went to a place, one of my local disc replay shops, and I bought this, what I thought was going to be this copy of this very dignified British version of Brideshead Revisited. One of the stars in this film is Emma Thompson. I think that's why I picked it up, because I really like her. So I didn't open it up. It's been sitting on the shelf for about a year or so. And look what was inside when I finally got around to watching it. Kick ass. Are you kidding me? That is almost blasphemous to put that in this particular cover, but I think it's kind of funny. Anyway, so I guess I'll be watching Kick-Ass next, and maybe I'll do a video for that. Thank you for watching. Take care. I will talk to you later. Comments are welcome.